I may have 99 problems, but going bald doesn't appear to be one of them. Hey guys, how you doing? Um, had a couple of days off and got about a week before the IAMS conference in Arizona, so I'm kind of in that philosophical headspace and got a couple of mental chew toys that I've drug out and gnawing on, so wanted to toss a couple of bones your way, let you gnaw on them too. But thinking a lot about the near-death experience and what makes us different beyond the obvious. And I think it's a realization that we are dying, figuratively and literally, I guess. I mean, to be dark on dark about it, it's kind of like as soon as we're born, we're in the human race, and the race is to death. So that's really, really good advertising for an antidepressant for a drug company near you. But I think for the vast majority of us, the journey is fraught with fear, to step into some alliteration, fear of the unknown. And I mean, for a select few of us who've engaged the near-death paradigm or spiritually transformative experience, a meditative epiphany, a pharmacological satori. I mean, there's a lot of pathways to the mystic, and for those folks who've made the journey, I'm not sure fear is something that exists, or maybe we fear something different now. I personally don't fear dying. I fear not getting my to-do list done. But I'm always adding to my to-do list, so I know that when I do shuffle off the mortal coil, that list, it won't be done. But I have to be happy with what I've managed to achieve. But I think the larger question for everyone is, after that experience, when the illusion of permanence and judgment is removed, what remains? I mean, having had my own near-death experience and numerous STE or spiritually transformative experiences, interviewing or compiling a database of 300 other people's NDEs, and dabbling a few non-traditional on-ramps to the metaphysical highway. Got some thoughts of my own that I want to share, and the first one that comes to mind is that your life is necessary, or more specifically, your life is a necessary role in a global community theater project. And what I mean by that is that there are some people who, from a global perspective, are going to be stars. They're on the world stage. There are others, though, that will be supporting characters. They, too, merit awards. I mean, there are stars of stage and screen, music and literature, art and science, sports and philosophy. But there are no small roles. There are no parts that are inconsequential. And there have been some narcissists in the news that propose that a lot of people are NPCs or non-playing characters. They're just background noise for the stars. That kind of surprises me as someone who has had a relationship with ketamine for 5 years. I'm really surprised that someone who has also allegedly partaken of ketamine would have that outlook, because one of the things that is a parallel or a Venn diagram of both the near-death experience and ketamine is that we are all connected. So to claim that, to diminish another is to diminish the self. So I'm befuddled by that. Maybe there is a thread of self-loathing there, and wouldn't be the first high achiever that's trying to achieve to make up for some gap or hole in their formative years. But every life matters, and now granted, the karmic return on that investment can take seconds or it can take generations. I've seen it happen in real time. I've seen it happen within my NDE, STEs, remote viewing. I guess the point is our actions echo beyond our human abilities or limitations. So say something worth repeating, because it will be repeated. The other thing I want to make sure people know is that you don't know it already. Obviously, I think some of you do. Fear is a great motivator, whether that fear is real or just perceived. Maybe not for this generation, but certainly for the boomer generation and maybe an eon before that. The threat of just wait until your father gets home. It carried a lot of gravitas. But I think that's the foundation of a lot of things. I think it's the foundation of the Old Testament. Fear the wrath of God / the original OG, the dad figure. For the rest of us, behave or be punished, I think is the foundation of a lot of religious and political systems. Keep the population, under control. Still, fear has its place. Keeps you from doing some stupid things sometimes. I believe it's fundamental for society's development to teach that there are consequences for actions that are detrimental to others. But as a person matures, motivation should be different. People need to be educated on why those behaviors merit consequences and why those consequences are necessary. I mean, the conversion from fear of consequences to the desire to do good or help others. I think we can all use a little help in that arena. Some of us more than others. And some of those people in mass media, they need a lot of help. But that motivation, I think, needs to move from external to internal. And maybe there are cases of arrested development. Don't allow that process. Or maybe those people are being arrested by things that they don't understand. And I mean, if you see somebody with their wheel stuck in a ditch, are you the person that's going to help them get the wheel out of the ditch and get them on down the road, or not? The other thing that I think is important for people to understand, death is not the end. Death is not the end of the race, it's a pit stop. And I said this on a lot of talks previously that, if you imagine a car race, IndyCar or NASCAR or whatever it is you watch, drivers will often have a backup car. And so the race isn't over with if you crash the car. The driver, the consciousness, gets out of the car, gets into another car, and resumes the race. Just as your meat suit may be stuck into a wall, but that doesn't mean your race is done. Your consciousness grabs another meat suit and you're back in the race. And I mean, I think the people that watch me are elevated in certain metaphysical aspects, but I also believe every person's knowledge is like a slice of Swiss cheese. There are holes in our knowledge because we're not perfect beings. Granted, the more experience and more knowledge and reading and interactions you have, maybe those holes become fewer, but we all have holes. And again, back to, if you're watching me, you've probably experienced Brian Weiss and Michael Newton, which I believe Many Lives, Many Masters and Journey of Souls are their first book of a string of books explaining essentially the same thing. I mean, even if you don't, even in the zeitgeist now, I mean, there's past life memories of kids and past life regression, reincarnation, the NDE downloads, it's numerous. The vectors are numerous. And in my opinion, the refusal to accept this supposition as a possibility is due to ignorance, maybe not willful, but just you haven't learned it yet. But ignorance, apathy, or conditioning is not really the word, indoctrination. So, I mean, live your live your YOLO life. They don't get hung up on the mistake because you'll always have another opportunity. And they're not really mistakes, they're teachers. And you'll repeat those lessons / mistakes until you learn what these teachers have to teach. Yeah. Chances are pretty good you'll meet them again if you haven't learned all that you need to learn or learned all that they need to teach. A more recent lesson for me that I want to make sure that I convey to as many people as I can is that the in-between is really important. It might be the most important opportunity for evolution. What I mean by in-between is that from in between your last breath in one meat suit and your first breath in the next meat suit, that in-between process, a lot of time I see it portrayed as a passive process. Well, until I saw the movie Soul, and there it was shown as a negotiation between your cruise director, guardian angel, caseworker, or whatever. And it's based upon that soul's level of experience and comprehension that one's managed to attain. I mean, in my mind's eye, I see it as an event portrayed as a new recruit uh, getting their medal tray and going into the chow line, getting various, spoons of slop thrown onto their tray, and sitting down with your chow, sit, adjust, pray, attack. And it's not that. It is a negotiation. Um, I've seen this during my NDE and also in interviews where it is a negotiation between yourself and your mentor, guardian angel. And hey, don't get me wrong, I think time spent in this life should be spent in this life. And I've mentioned this before during, talking about remote viewing or past lives, in that there is a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. You want to check in with the rear view mirror every once in a while, but your focus needs to be in front of you. It needs to be in the life you're currently living and not so absorbed into the past that you lose the potential value of this life. So when you keep that aspect in mind, I do think some time spent in meditation, or whatever word you want to use, self-reflection, journaling, whatever, but I believe some time should be spent in thinking about the next life and thinking about the lessons to be learned or the experiences that could be improved upon. Like a video game, just because you play the video game once doesn't mean you throw it away or never play it again. There's always an opportunity for different levels, side quests, different challenges, different weapons, different difficulties, different characters. And so there are things to be learned from a multitude of perspectives, which is another reason why I don't believe you only get one shot at it. And so there may be opportunities as well within this lifetime. If you set that intention and set those experiences, that experiential learning, you may get opportunities in this lifetime to actually achieve them. And for you type A's out there, it's your chance to get ahead of the curve, dude. Shaka. And so, let me think about this. Okay. I don't want to scare the straights, but if I make you uncomfortable, that's okay. For those of you who've done all the work that I've mentioned here, already have this awareness, I would ask you if you asked yourself this question. Beyond beyond the question of have you considered that you can talk to the event director, the event coordinator in between lives and help curate the next iteration? Have you considered that there are lower level beings that will divert you from elevating your soul? Huh. Let me see if I can be a little more abstract with that. So in the old days, in the medieval days, especially in the journey from Christendom to Jerusalem, the whole reason why Templar, well, not the whole reason, a primary reason the Templar Knights came into existence was to provide protection from point A to point B from highwaymen, people that would, come into your confidence and then, waylay or slay while you slept. Have you considered that there are highwaymen in your journey of the in-between? I have more concrete thoughts on this, but I may be wrong. And so I'm going to avoid those, at least in this framework. If we're sitting at a bar, having a drink, I will definitely go into much deeper detail. But I think that for the time being, that's as far as I want to go. These lower level beings derive a benefit from you not making your full ascension and essentially recycling you and putting you back into the same or lower level than you just left. That struggle that will ensue is a benefit to them. Even in ascension, there is an opportunity for distraction. And if you're mindful of that and know that it's not a passive process, that you can co-create your next reality with the cruise director, just having the awareness of the possibility, I think, is a start of protection from the highwaymen. That whole thing of ignorance is bliss. In a world of the blind, the one-eyed man can be king. I think enough of you can smell what I'm cooking, so we'll just leave it at that. And if it's still too abstract, I would say in the in-between and in life in general, always move towards joy, love, and bliss when it has a positive vibration associated with it. Yeah. I'm okay with that. So again, in closing, I guess the big part of it is I mentioned the things I think everyone should know, but if you've already made those aha discoveries, I would say consider taking an active role in your soul's evolutionary process, both while you are encumbered with your Mark V dive suit, aka human meat suit, but also in your evolutionary process as a soul. because you have the ability to do so. Yeah, I think that's enough for now. Thanks for listening. Bye.